Since taking over as head coach of Manchester United, Ruben Amorim has set his team up in his preferred 3-4-3 formation, albeit with mixed results. To maintain width, such back three formations rely heavily on football's rarest and arguably most demanding position, the wingback. However, United currently only have one, and finding Premier League-ready wingbacks within a limited budget, especially in an era that favors traditional fullbacks, will be nothing short of challenging. To succeed at Old Trafford, therefore, Amorim must not only sign wingbacks but also develop them from existing players. So, what defines an elite wingback, and why is it the most important position in Amorim's system? Given Amorim's unwavering commitment to his playing style, United's summer shopping list will undoubtedly include a wingback or two. However, the use of wingbacks has long been uncommon among Europe's football elite. In the Premier League's modern era, only Chelsea have successfully translated the back three approach into trophy success, with Antonio Conte winning the Premier League in 2017 having used a 3-4-3 formation for most of the campaign. 4 years later, Thomas Tuchel employed a similar system to guide Chelsea to their second Champions League title. More recently, teams like Inter Milan, Bayer Leverkusen, Atalanta, and Sporting have all thrived with variants of the three at the back formation. Even then, while Amorim's first team at Sporting utilized a 3-4-3, their academy teams maintained a four-man defense throughout his 4.5-year tenure. Indeed, aside from Chelsea under Conte's reign, few academies across Europe specifically develop players as wingbacks. This has resulted in a shallower talent pool compared to other positions, with the few existing world-class options already thriving at their present clubs and subsequently harder to prize away. Meanwhile, those available for transfers often come with a hefty price tag. Chelsea, for instance, have already taken one potential target off the market by signing Giovanni Quenda, a teenage winger who impressed as a wingback in Amorim's Sporting side. However, the reported £44 million fee for a 17-year-old certainly raises eyebrows. Moreover, the few clubs that do possess elite wingbacks will be acutely aware of Amorim's intentions in the summer window, meaning the dreaded United tax could rear its ugly head once more. As such, United's search for wingbacks this summer could turn out to be more of a minefield than a straightforward mission. But even with one, or perhaps two wingback signings, the club will still require depth on both flanks, needing options off the bench for added freshness. So if they can't secure enough wingback solutions this summer, United may need to also explore internal options. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, subscribe so that you don't miss out on our future videos. Amorim has so far divided up wingback duties between Diogo Dalot and Nusser Mazraoui during his 5-month tenure at United. Beyond the pair, Amad Diallo made important contributions from right wing back in key matches before suffering a season-ending injury in February, while Patrick Dorgu has added pace and defensive reliability to left wing back since joining from Lecce late in the January window. It's difficult to recalibrate players from other positions as wingbacks, and while not all of these players have consistently excelled in their roles, they have filled in reasonably well. However, Amorim has also frequently referred to his wingbacks as wingers. But what exactly does he mean by the winger connotation? The Portuguese manager places more emphasis on a player's characteristics than their actual positions, highlighting several winger-like traits he seeks from those assigned the wingback role. High-intensity sprints are a wingback's bread and butter, but it's not just about running with the ball. It's about covering more ground with longer strides while having the ball at your feet. Can a wingback reach the final third in just 3 or 4 touches instead of dragging it out over 10? And while keeping up that speed, can they adjust their movement to effectively link up with teammates? After all, wingbacks are not always the most technically gifted. So, in addition to outpacing defenders on the outfield, they often have to rely on 1-2 passes with nearby infield teammates to get past opponents. Crossing is another vital skill for any wingback. Will they have the stamina, vision, and technicality to deliver a precise cross, even in the 85th or 90th minute? All in all, this is why Amorim favors two-footed wingbacks, considering them more versatile for beating opponents and penetrating the final third. He needs his wingbacks to create width and deliver crosses from both deep and the byline, while also posing an infield threat by cutting inside to shoot or combine with teammates. To maximize this threat, he has a track record of deploying left-footed wingbacks on his team's right flank and vice versa, a strategy he successfully implemented with Giovanni Quenda and Jenny Catamo at Sporting. At United, we've seen flashes of this approach with Diallo, who has since thrived under Amorim and proven to be an unselfish, creative force on the ball and relentless presser without it. It wouldn't be surprising if Amorim ends up settling on Dorgu and Diallo, both adept with either foot, as his starting wingbacks for the upcoming season. To watch our video exploring whether Amorim's tactics are truly working at United, click the first link in the description or the card in the top right corner. Most wingbacks at the top level today are expected to cover an entire flank on their own. But while physicality is crucial in such roles, ball carrying and technical skill are equally important, not just for the wingbacks but for every player. As such, the performance of the wingbacks is heavily influenced by the support of their nearest teammates, particularly the wide centre-backs and central midfielders. To effectively implement a 3-4-3, teams should ensure they have their two quickest central defenders positioned wide in the back three. This arrangement provides essential defensive cover should the wingbacks find themselves out of position, and it also helps them choose the right moments to catch their breath. Simultaneously, wingbacks must always be mindful of their positioning and passing angles in relation to their nearest centre-back and central midfielder, because if they are caught out of position when the ball arrives, their team would immediately be on the back foot. A well-executed example of this approach can again be seen in Conte's title-winning Chelsea side, which thrived on the talents of Victor Moses and Marcos Alonso as wingbacks, while calling upon the strengths of their teammates within their passing triangles. Cesar Azpilicueta, who played on the right side of Chelsea's back three, was adept at moving wide to engage in one-on-one scenarios thanks to him being a right back by trade. In the midfield, Nemanja Matic, Cesc Fabregas, and N'Golo Kante operated with finesse. Matic held back and screened the defense. Fabregas linked play from defense to attack, while Kante was able to press the opposing midfield almost single-handedly. In this vein, United's recent performances have begun to reflect Amorim's style coming together, with improvements in their defensive positioning leading to greater success in one-on-one duels. De Ligt's recent move to right centre-back, for instance, has allowed him to engage more aggressively in challenges for loose balls. Similarly, Amorim's choice to deploy 18-year-old Aiden Heaven at left centre-back, who boasts greater recovery speed than his fellow centre-backs, has provided crucial protection for the left wing-back. In midfield, Bruno Fernandes has emerged as the linchpin of Amorim's system, as his exceptional ball-carrying skills and crucial contributions on both ends of the pitch from his deeper role are vital in holding the team together. Ultimately, while assembling the pieces for Amorim's desired playing style on a limited budget and with the current roster will be challenging, United's recent performances and Amorim's gradual adaptation demonstrate that it's far from impossible. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more football news, stories, and insights. Also, don't forget to hit notifications so you never miss a beat. And with that, we'll see you in the next video.